What I'm about to do, I usually take a lot longer to do, so I've condensed it down so we can get to lunch faster. So first we're going to talk.
Yeah, they have to wait.
I know. Are they up there? So I'm going to talk a little bit, and then James over here is going to have some hands-on for you, and then it'll be time to eat. So I think that's great. That's awesome. Let's do that.
This is, you sent to us, right? So we
I have not sent you the PowerPoint, but I will. But the handout. And that actually will be one of my points as we go through. And I just realized that I am in the wrong view because I wanted to show I wanted to show this, although it screws up the resolution. So I should have played around a little bit more this morning, and it's my fault. But how many people actually use PowerPoint, Keynote, Google presentations, presented? Okay, everybody does. That's kind of the point. Did you know that there's a thing called the presenter's view in all of them, which is what's sitting over here? And if you come in here and you configure this correctly, this will look better. But you can preview your show and hide something before they get to see it. And it also keeps track of your time and all that other stuff. So it was pretty powerful in my opinion, but I'm not liking how it looks here, so I'm going to go back to the other view. But so presenter's view is pretty cool.
Is it everything PowerPoint as well?
This is PowerPoint. I'm in PowerPoint. I'm a Keynote user, but I went to PowerPoint because it's the most commonly used on this campus. So that is changing. So let's just go back to the regular and talk about, Gary, yes, you met up with me. Powerful presentations. How many of us sit through student presentations and watch them? How many of you kind of cringe? Okay. So I will say in the future, I can come to your class and kind of do a quick version of this. You can send them to me and I will sit down and help them through the presentation so they can get a little bit better. I cannot do it at midnight the night before it's due. And I have had people try and, you weren't there at 7:30. Well, I wasn't there at 7:30. But it's something to do, it's something to think about. The one thing I didn't do because the battery died is I usually have a clicker, so I'm not tied to my machine. And that's so handy because then you can be anywhere in the room and go. Which is another reason why I like Keynote, because I run it through my iPhone. So, what makes a presentation powerful? I already know the answer, guys.
Images.
Yeah, you already know.
Media.
Maybe. I'm going to do this, I think. Whoa. Hey.
There you go.
What is that doing?
You're
the presentation, not what's behind you. You're the presentation. You're what's important. You're the presentation. So that's the thing you need to know. All this stuff up here, that's just to help you. And actually, it's not there to help you. You walk out of here with nothing else. Realize that what's here behind you, it's for the audience. It's to help them. This is kind of sometimes the hardest point I have to get across to people is, they like to have that visual guide up there. You know what? Speaker notes, index cards, all the perfect, people laugh at them, but you know what? They're awesome. Use them. There's nothing wrong with that. Use them. Because the presentations are there to help your audience go from point A to point B and to stay right with you. The presentation's there to maybe touch an emotion. Because if you can touch an emotion, they're going to remember. But if it's bullet lists after bullet, you guys know, you see them every year. So here's one of my examples. Okay, what's wrong with this slide?
A little too much information.
There's way too much. That's the obvious one. I give you the obvious one. What else?
I want to see pictures of the fruit.
Thank you.
Yeah, draws you
The
with
image really isn't appropriate here.
Yeah.
Okay?
The colors don't work
The
either.
colors definitely don't work. Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, the white text on the fairly light background.
Now, I'm going to stand back here. We used to call this a nosebleed section, you know, when you go see a concert. You should be able to hear and see in the nosebleed section what's on the screen easily without like going, what? I have my glasses on, so I totally can't read that because that's more close up. Okay, so that slide is not going to work for us. Each slide has a purpose. This slide has what, 50 purposes? Too much.
The last sentence is.
So here's the same thing. Oh, the last sentence there was hilarious, right?
That's pretty good.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Look at me. Congratulations, however, on having such a good eyesight. Good job. So instead, we could introduce, like you said, you want to see the pictures. We could introduce this. Tell a little story about this. What's the background on Chile? Why are we here and looking at it? Give it some context. No bullet points, just a few pictures. And then I have a sub-point about copper and why that's growing in Chile. And then I have fruit. Why is that important? Particularly in California, I might add. Right? Do you see that instead of having text or bullet point, image, audience knows what you're talking about. Now talk about it. Oh no, we lost it. Bummer. And our wine. I happen to love wine. But now if you recall, those were the 3 pictures we had on that. So we did in fact have an introductory slide. So we didn't put it all on one slide. We introduced the topics we were going to introduce, and then 1 point per slide. Only one point. What's the most important thing on that slide? Get rid of everything else. And hey. Speaker notes are powerful because they can become your handouts if you want them to be. You can print just the speaker's notes if that's something that you want to do. So, if you put down the stuff that you know here, you can print this out, put it on Moodle, make it a Google Doc, however you want to publish it. There's your handout. You don't have to create an additional document. You can use the speaker's notes as like your handout area. So now everything having to do with your presentation's all in one place and you're not all over the place. And so if you want to come in here and update this, you don't have to go update another document. It's right there. I think if this is the greatest thing I saw in the last 3 or 4 months. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't need another document. I can just put it here. I can post my presentation, or I can export just the text here, and I'm done. So they're there to guide you, but they could also be there so the students, are furiously taking notes. We tell them up front, you're going to get these notes. Listen right now. I'm going to give them to you, but right now you got to listen. So speaker notes are your favorite friends, my new favorite friend. You repeat the main idea over and over and over, as you guys already know. I'm doing it so very obvious, all right? I now have a quote. Now, if I'm over here talking in front of that, where are you looking? You can't do both at the same time, right? You have a quote, you have a movie, you have something that's important. Here's what you do. You are now the audience. Presentation preparation is about the organizing of thoughts and focusing on the storytelling so it is all clear to your audience. Gar Reynolds, Presentation Zen. Now everybody knows what we're talking about, and we can go further, and I can say, I had somebody take my book where I would have brought it. Buy that book and encourage your students. It's in the library. You can check it out for free. They have like 5 copies. It goes into a lot more depth and a lot more explanation. And the ISBN and all that other information is in your handout. That is that Google Doc that I gave you. It's also in the speaker's notes down here too. You said images rule. Images dual rule. Images are going to set a tone, but you have to use images appropriately. Going back to Chile, particularly in this room, you really need a high quality image in this room because this is kind of a pixelated image, but because it's so bad, it's not going to work. This is actually a high quality image on this projector. Ugh, I don't even really like it, but at least I have something there. So you have to always, because people like to, oh, I've got a picture, put it in there. Have to find high quality images. Again, in the handout, there's links to places to do that, but I have a few. Google image search, there's a trick, and I'll show you how to find that. May or may not be copyright protected. Flickr, you guys know Flickr? Creative Commons may or may not, most of the time is okay to download. Sometimes it's not, but there's usually high quality images. Open photo stock is the third one. So remember our Chilean exports? This is a bad example. Where's the joke? Copper.
Oh.
His fault. There is one other one, but you know what? The quality in here is so bad you're never going to see it. Now that might have worked because I was able to relate it back, right? But it's really not appropriate as an export. So this is kind of what we're used to seeing right here. People would, it's taken to the extreme. But bullet point, here's a picture. Here's another picture. Kind of hard to look at. But it's got the content. So really, this should be your speaker's notes, not what's on the screen. This is what should be on the presentation. And did you know that you can, from the Library of Congress, get the little audio file for free and put a little snippet and put it right here if you have time, which is something I didn't have, but you can. Well, now we just took something that actually is his voice. We've got his picture. There's even movies you can go get of it, right? But remember when movies are playing and there's audio, turn off the lights, sit down, be the audience, right? So if it's so important, you've got to give them the mental ability and the okay. I don't know where to look. I don't know where to look. Where am I supposed to look? They don't know. But as soon as I turn around and I look with you, the brain goes, oh, that's where I'm supposed to be. Whether you're aware of it or not, that is what's happening in there.
I like the use of the oversized quote marks. I don't think I would have thought of that. That's clever.
Actually, they're images.
Very cool.
So this is kind of a progression from a building up. 90% of fresh water in the world, and again, because you can't see it, is, anybody know?
I'm guessing ice?
Is what?
Ice. Are you going to remember that now?
Yeah.
All right. If that had been a bullet point, you'd have to go back and memorize it. So those images really took it to the next level. This is stolen from Al Gore. Remember he did the whole, what's the planet one I can't remember right now?
Inconvenient truth.
Inconvenient Truth. And his was actually